We're back, continuing our tour of the Toucan Kingdom, one of the craziest virtual theme parks known to man. In this video, we'll be doing an in-depth look at Skyline City, which houses two of the dopest coasters in our whole entire theme park. You can find this miniature city in the back corner of the theme park next to the massive wooden coaster, NOODS. So this is the Skyline City, which I created because as a kid, whenever I visited a city, I always imagined there being gigantic roller coasters wrapping around the skyscrapers and doing loops. So I wanted to build that. Back in Skyline City, we have two coasters, Psychosis and Spidey Senses, a drop tower, some restaurants, and we also have a monorail that will bring you here from the front of the park because we don't expect everybody to have to walk all the way back here. And those stairs leading down to the subway, that actually takes you to the monorail that leads you to the other portions of the park. It blends in perfectly. You have to get your street noodles, definitely one of the best spots. They're delicious, especially the spicy ones. Don't want to pass it up. This brick building right in front of us houses the drop tower, and then right over here to our right is the coaster Spidey Senses, where you feel like Spider-Man swinging on webs through New York City. Now, I love looking at the city during the nighttime. It is absolutely beautiful with all the colored lights everywhere. It's a spectacle. More cities should have lights like this. Although the people living inside the houses and apartments would probably get annoyed at night. Alright, so let's go ahead and ride the first coaster, which is this wild mouse coaster named Psychosis, which is pretty much where all of my miscellaneous ideas came to thrive, honestly. They didn't come here to die. I love this coaster, and I had such a fun time putting all the scenery together. So the rides get a start pretty much instantly. This ride has a lot of color everywhere. Like that's the one thing that kind of ties it all together. It's just bright and colorful. Inside every single building, you'll find a somewhat different theme. We're about to go through the crystal caverns, where you can find crystals of every color embedded into the walls of this mining facility. Wild mouse coasters are known for being a little bit choppy and abrupt with their turns, so that's why the coaster's doing stuff like this. Now, this room is inspired by the movie Cabin in the Woods, where we have a bunch of prison cells filled with a bunch of different monsters that are moving around and just trapped inside. Now, even though I love this coaster, it's about halfway down the list on my favorite coaster list in the theme park. And that's just because it's a wild mouse coaster and it's a kind of limited track type. Has some of the best scenery, I must say. Now, I think I built this room to just destroy my CPU. No regard for my computer. No wonder it crashed. That's why a new video didn't come out for a while. My computer was crashed for a moment. My hard drive went out. But we're back. And now we're about to dive into the sea. I love this room. One of my favorites. It's so short, but it looks so good. And then there's a lot of Christmas scenery. I didn't use any of it in the park except for that one room. There you go. Merry Christmas. Now playing some 3D chess. This room doesn't have that much color, but the absence of color still feels colorful to me. And then that last room was Wild West themed, and the station is haunted. So be scared. I hope you enjoyed Psychosis. It'll drive you crazy with how many different themes you have to go through. You have to ride it a few times to soak it all in. And my favorite part is the fact that it takes place inside all of these buildings inside the Skyline City. It's a dark ride that's like all above ground inside a metropolis? Sure, I'll call it that. But yeah, let me know what your favorite themed room on the Psychosis coaster was, because I spent a lot of time on them, so yeah, comment section below. Now let's head back outside towards our drop tower. We're gonna peep through the window where we have a 360 panorama drop tower. A lot of seats on this bad boy, so we can have a lot of people screaming. And I put lots of statues in the queue. You know, they looked nice. And here's the Spider-Man coaster, which this ride is a treat. I feel like I've been waiting my whole entire life to build a skyscraper roller coaster that looks this good. I put in work. I also like the blue and red lights to represent the Spider-Man colors. But we're actually gonna ride this ride during the daytime because I think that's when it shines the most. So it starts off a little bit backlottish. We're fighting Dr. Octagonopus. And he's blowing up New York City. Oh no! How dare he do such a thing? Well, you know, Spider-Man's on the job. He can fix anything by climbing up a building and just swinging around a little bit. But for how giant and loopy this coaster gets, I really love the way it starts. How it's just kind of intimate with the streets and just kind of slow and builds up the story, sets up the plot, and then we go up a gigantic chain lift. Now, this coaster is in my top 5 favorite coasters in the park. A lot went into making this one, and I just think it's a fun coaster to ride, and I would ride it in real life. I think the track design turned out pretty decent. We start off with some suspenseful music. We have the helicopter flying around. Get ready for an amazing view. We're upside down for a little bit, but we get a full upside down park view. Then we're gonna do a weird inverted loop on the outside of the skyscraper, which I think looks awesome from a distance. You can see this from like the opposite side. Oh no! Dr. Octagonopus, no! All right, here we go. This is where the web slinging really starts. I wanted to capture the flow of Spider-Man, of having you swing down and then glide back up, have a little bit of airtime to do a trick, and then you swing back down, glide back up, and just kind of repeat the process so it can really mimic the feeling of being Spider-Man. This coaster has a wild amount of inversions. I think you go upside down more in this coaster than every coaster in the park. This one holds the record for that. But since this coaster was all the way in the back corner of the park, I decided to let loose and be a little bit less realistic than usual. And just make it crazy. And I think it really works. It like ties it all together. Oh, there's a car for the wooden coaster. Oh, and here we go through a 0G roll. One of the best elements. Now at this point I was just trying to slow the coaster down because it was getting pretty long, so we're just having to bob across the buildings for a bit. Overall, I'm really proud with how this coaster turned out. It was like a really large endeavor, and to pull it off and like blend all the scenery together and make this city even look realistic in the first place while keeping it small felt like a really large challenge, but I felt like I pulled it off. What do you guys think about this coaster? Would you ride it in real life? Would you ride the Spidey Sense if it existed in this world? Let me know in the comment section below. Now we head and switched it up to nighttime, looking at all the beautiful lights again. We gotta go down and take a ride on the Tucana Express. I think it's finally time we ride the monorail, which will give us a full entire park tour. Let's freaking do it. If this theme park had parades, it would definitely start back here in the city. Imagine just like the streets lined with people and some parade floats and a marching band. That would be such a cool addition to this game. Just, as long as your path is wide enough, you can designate areas to have parades through your theme park, like your Disneyland. All right, let's go down into the subway station. It's time to see the rats. Now, our subway station is very clean and sanitary, which is why the rats are very comfortable. Got a nice little burger shack down here, in case you want some. I don't know why you would buy food in a subway station. That's probably the last place I would buy food, but in the Toucan Kingdom, you can be rest assured that it is safe. We have a lot of people down here riding the monorail because nobody wants to have to walk all the way back here. It's like one of the largest theme parks ever. And people are lazy nowadays. So fortunately for them, we got it covered. And neon signs also have the walls and ceiling covered as well. All right, you guys ready for the full Tucana Express ride? We're gonna get started over in the medieval Volvagia village. And it's gonna circle around the whole theme park. We're gonna get several different views because I feel like this ride is very scenic. And I want to show you guys how pretty this park is. Gosh darn it, I put a lot of work into it. And I'm having it circulate the park during golden hour so my park can look as photogenic as possible. Yes, I did just chef's kiss. Alright, emerging over into the French Riviera. We just pass on through, go through a little tunnel made just for us. You can see the gigantic helix for the spinning coaster. And we're about to go under a giant loop. Yeah, loop tunnels. Nothing better than threading the needle through the gaping hole. And we're approaching the station at the Oko factory over in the sci-fi sector. We'll go ahead and stop off for a second if anybody wants to get off or on. Oh wait, no, we're in test mode. Nobody can get on. This is our monorail. And right in front of us are two of my favorite coasters in the park. They're two RMC coasters that race each other. They're pretty next level. But now we're venturing to the outer corners, the outer edges of the Toucan Kingdom. We're almost in pure wilderness at this point. But you have to appreciate how serene and peaceful the theme park backgrounds are in Planet Coaster. I just want to go hike these mountains so bad. I love hiking so much. And these mountains just look very hikeable. Alright, we're entering the subway station for the Skyline City. It's very funky in here. You're about to see it gets way funkier. I don't know why I got so extra when decorating this subway tunnel. It feels like you're going through that tunnel on the chocolate boat in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, but a bit more modern, less scary. Then you emerge out of the tunnel to like the most beautiful view of all time. I like how this monorail gives you views of the theme park that you wouldn't get from anywhere else. And then Hyrule Castle, it looks so good from this angle. Jeez, I can't believe I built that. Then Elden Bridge, it's all broken. What a shame. And then coming up in a moment, there's a plot of land next to this volcano. And there's enough space to build another pretty large roller coaster. And I was thinking, if this video, this one video in particular, if it can get over 1,000 likes, I'll make a few bonus episodes to the Ultimate Theme Park where we build one last coaster in this plot of land that you see right next to us. It's looking pretty good. It's pretty spacious. I think we could build something pretty delicious there. And also, if you have any suggestions for the type of coaster, let me know as well. I'm sure there's some coaster type that you guys would love to see get some representation in the Toucan Kingdom. And we're reapproaching the castle wall for the village. This monorail only has 3 stations, but they're all in very tactical locations, so it takes you to the major portions of the park, so you don't have to walk too much. And if we do build that new coaster, I will build a 4th station to stop and take people there, so they don't have to walk all the way back behind the volcano, because that would be a lot to ask. And we've made it around. You guys enjoyed riding the Tucana Express. And thanks for watching this episode of the tour for the Toucan Kingdom. And the next episode, we're going to check out the Super Mario World. You guys aren't going to want to miss it. Make sure to hit subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.